Look beyond your horizon.
Welcome to Dream Big with Jill Jack, a show that will inspire, educate, and encourage you to break down your barriers and follow your heart. Here's your host, Jill Jack on Empower Radio.
Hi, everybody. I am so excited that we are launching this new Empower Radio video. It's awesome, and it's a great way to feel even more connected for my shows. So while I can't see you, I know you're there. How's that? So my name is Jill Jack from Dream Big with Jill Jack on Empower Radio, and today I'm going to talk about being still, the art of being still. And I love that this pandemic has actually caused me to learn how to be still. I mean, when I look back, and I've had plenty of time to look back, obviously, but when I think about it, for 30 years, my music career, I have been on a very fast treadmill. And I was really proud of it. I was like, look how busy I am. Look how many things I can juggle. I'm a mom. I'm a songwriter. I work a part-time job. I do this, I do that. And then all of a sudden, you realize you're exhausted. So one thing, actually, you don't even realize it. Let's take that back. You don't realize it. A pandemic helps you realize it. And so yesterday I was working in the garden, and I kept having this feeling pop up. And it was, I better hurry up and get this done. I better hurry up and get this done. And I'm like, why? And I can't believe that has been my mind for so long. No wonder I necessarily didn't always like gardening, because I couldn't take my time. I always had to be somewhere or do something. Or if I was gardening, I had to worry about my hands and, them getting, because you get arthritis and playing guitar and things like that. So all these things, were always in the back of my mind, subconscious. So here I am gardening yesterday. And at the beginning, I couldn't enjoy it because in my mind, I kept thinking I had to be somewhere. So being still now, be still and know is one of my favorite Bible verses. It says, be still and know on my necklace. And it's a constant reminder to me to take a step back, to breathe, to try and be still in your mind, because our minds are so powerful. And I think creative people, I think we're all creative, obviously, but artists, I think our mind is on just constant intensity. And so to be able to calm our mind, to be able to bring it down a level, a notch, and just be still. So what I always find really amazing is when, every week, especially with the pandemic, I hadn't had guests. So with this, though, we'll be able to do guests, and I'm so excited. So stay tuned for the next couple shows while I get to plan them. But while I'm planning these things, I am still. That's what I do. I get quiet. It's like I go into a meditative state, or I also look for signs, like what should be something that I can talk about. And for all you non-believers, there are signs out there. Just telling you, if you stay in tune with your intuition, things will just come to you. So this came to me, be still, right? And so sometimes I go on the computer and maybe like just type in be still and see if there's a quote or something that stimulates me. Well, I actually got it on Facebook. Surprise, surprise. A dear friend of mine, Alistair, he is in Europe, and he put a quote up, and it just was perfect for today. And it was from a writer named Elena Mikhalkova. I don't know if I'm saying it right. But anyway, it's so beautiful, and it just really connected to me and to the feeling I had about being still. So let me read it to you. It's, my grandmother once gave me a tip. In difficult times, you move forward in small steps. Do what you have to do, but little by little. Don't think about the future or what may happen tomorrow. Wash the dishes, remove the dust, write a letter, make a soup. You see, you are advancing step by step. Take a step and stop. Rest a little. Praise yourself. Take another step, then another. You won't notice, but your steps will grow more and more. And the time will come when you can think about the future without crying. That like got me. Just now I'm crying already. So let's kind of break this down. So in difficult times, you move forward in small steps. Now, I don't know about you, but when this pandemic hit, and believe me, I don't always want to talk about the pandemic, but I do think there's such great learning in this pandemic. So when the pandemic first hit, I literally felt, I'm sure along with everyone else, that the rug was just pulled out from under me. I mean, the bottom line was within one day, I found out that I lost so much work. And while work, is obviously work, it's money, but it's also an emotional outlet for me. It is such an amazing gift that I'm allowed to do. So when I didn't have that, I'm like, where am I going to put that energy? And so I just got super sad. And personally, I don't, and I'm getting better, but I don't really like being on the computer. I don't really like being on the phone. I'd rather be playing in front of a bunch of people. I'd rather be outside. I'd rather be doing a lot of different things. But guess what? That's not what's being offered right now. So what did I do? Did I learn a bunch of programs? Did I jump on the computer? Did I, do the phone and Zoom and everything else? No, I did not. Actually, I asked for a rerun of a podcast first from Empower. I just didn't have it in me. I was emotionally drained. Now, we've been at this now since March 13th, and I don't know how many weeks that is, but the bottom line is it's been a little while. And I noticed week by week, or as this Elena said, step by step, small steps, I started to kind of come out of my cocoon. And again, though, I didn't know where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do. It wasn't normal. I didn't have my gigs. I didn't have my clients, my dream big clients. I couldn't go to my office, my beautiful space. So I had to figure out what to do. So instead of like getting back on the treadmill and going, okay, I'm going to do this, I didn't. I prayed a lot. Behind me, you can see, I got to turn the right way. Behind me is like a spiritual corner I have, and that's my daughter's friend, Teresa, who's actually in New York right now, a nurse on the front lines. So she's in my prayer corner too. And my whiteboard is right there, which you can see is empty. It wasn't empty a minute ago. But the bottom line was I sat in this corner and just was still. I prayed a lot. I read a lot. I journaled a lot. I love my journal. I recommend, grab it for you. I recommend that everybody have a journal, but make sure it's a book that you like. Like my Dream Big clients, I always say get a journal. Look at this beauty. I got this in California. Oh my gosh. And I'm running out of pages. I'm so sad. I'm going to have to get a new one. But so I would sit here and I would be still. And I believe in God. Now, everybody has different beliefs. For me, I believe in God and I believe in the universe being here for me. And so I just literally was quiet and I kept working and getting my brain quiet, like, oh, please be quiet. And nothing came. No news, no big aha moment of, oh my God, this is what I'm going to do. No, it didn't. So all I kept saying to myself was just continually stay still, have faith. You are not in this alone. Everyone's going through this stuff. And so like this reading that I have, don't think about the future or what may happen tomorrow. It's no different than really life normally. We don't know. I mean, even if we had our jobs, even if we had everything back to normal, even if we had things that we were always doing, tomorrow is not guaranteed. So it's really not much different. It's just that we felt more in control before this pandemic hit, because obviously we could get in our car, we could go somewhere, we could create something, we could make something happen, and now we can't. But is anybody with me on this regarding the pandemic, that so many lessons are learned? So let me give you an example. Obviously, are we are supposed to stay away from each other, and I get it and I respect it, and believe me, I am going to continue to listen, no matter what, because I don't want to get anyone sick. I don't know if I'm carrying it, and I don't want anyone to get me sick. I want to see my daughter get married someday and have babies, grandbabies. I want grandbabies, so but here I was, and I had to cancel this festival that I was working on, Eleanor Fest, and I was so sad. I mean, we had to make that call. I can't imagine the people that have to make huge, huge decisions. And now, granted, this was huge to me, but on the grand scale of things, it wasn't that big of a deal. Um, but it was still hard for me, and it was very sad for me. And so, uh, I keep losing track of days. I don't know if you guys are, but I'm like, what day is it? The only thing that helps me is to work with Empower Radio. They keep me on track. But so the concert was scheduled for May 2nd. And so that was a Saturday. And we decided, my neighborhood, we had a movie night. I have a huge backyard. I have the best neighbors in the universe. I am telling you, they are awesome, and I miss them. Thank God we can see each other from across the street. But so what we decided to do is do a pandemic movie. One of our neighbors had a projector and a screen, and so I had obviously the sound system, and so we all worked together, but in a very, very, we spread it out. And because the yard was so big, we could actually do beyond 6 feet, and everybody brought their own stuff. We had ice cream delivered. It was so fun. And all of a sudden it dawned on me, I was so happy. My heart was just, I can't tell you, it was just so peaceful and enjoying. And I mean, everybody was happy, even though we were far apart. I wanted to hug everybody, but I couldn't. But it dawned on me when we were putting the stuff away, I thought, oh my God, tonight would have been Eleanor Fest. And I wasn't sad. I was in such a good mood, and I was so peaceful. And I'm not saying I wouldn't have wanted to do it, but I'm just saying, hey, the alternative was awesome. We watched Coco, we all sang, we enjoyed the music, we were family. It just felt like family. It felt easy. It felt simple. And so I think with this pandemic, it's like part of me is wondering what this be still is all about in my head, and making me look at things differently. I don't have control, and I don't know when I'll have control of my schedule again. I mean, I'm doing virtual entertaining, virtual meetings, and things like that, but I don't know if it'll ever be normal for a long time. So until I know, I have to be still. So what is it that you find the hardest about being still? I know one of the things is that we have and I don't want to say especially women. I think it kind of is across the board, but I think women in general can be very hard on themselves. They have a lot of the parenting, and I shouldn't say totally, but some women do. And so what do you do then? It's like you shame yourself if you're not 100% in everything. And I think everybody does that, not just women. So, but we're like these empath mother people, And I mean, even right now, I felt guilty because I had to take my dog. I got all this set up. And then when I went to go turn around to sit down, my dog was laying on my chair right where I was supposed to sit. And I felt guilty. And I'm like, terrible mom. And then yesterday I was doing a Facebook Live performance and she was choking. And it's like, I was like playing and watching her choke. You know, we shame ourselves. We feel that we're not doing enough. So my question to you is, what is enough? And what is overkill? What is where we try to do so much that we just don't even have time to be still, be quiet, just really go inward. And I know that, the naysayers will be like, you don't need to be quiet, but you do. I swear to God, we have the ability. Our brain is off the charts. We have the ability to really, really quiet our brain if we want. And we have the ability to have it go a million miles an hour too. So I would like to suggest to everyone to take, whether it be if you're a morning person or an evening person, or even during the day, take that time out to be still. We've got the time right now. You don't have to be anywhere if you're not working. If you are working, God bless you. But if you are, and especially if you're working from home, there are stresses with that. Like, for example, I had to make sure that my sister would stop FaceTiming me during my shows because she would pop up on my phone and I'd be like, oh my God. So those stresses that we have, right now we are entering into a new phase. We would normally get up, go to work, do whatever our responsibilities were. And so one of the stresses we have right now is, what do we do first? If you are unemployed right now, do you just stay in bed? Do you sleep more? And, some people may feel guilty about that. Maybe that's what this is for. Maybe this is time for you to rest. I got up at 6 and I was like, no, I went back to bed and then went back to bed again. So it is what you make of it. There are no rules right now. Can you imagine that? There's no rules right now. We are existing. We are at a place where we are existing. And so while I recommend that you don't worry about tomorrow because you can't control it anyway, and I recommend that if you do think about your future, I wouldn't worry, but paint a picture in your head of what you might want to see. Like, to me, I've always wanted cows. Everybody knows that who loves me. They know I love cows. And we were having this discussion that, oh my gosh, what if we ever had to sell our house or something? And I was like, we could get a farm. I could get my cows. And then my daughter's like, yeah, and I'll never be able to visit you because I'm allergic to animals. And I'm like, oh my God. So all of a sudden, my dream of having a farm went away. And I got kind of sad about it. I was like, oh my God, she's right. She'd either have to be doped up on Benadryl or she wouldn't be able to come see me. So I was really quiet about it because I'd been dreaming like what that would look like. And then I realized what I could do. I realized that there's this beautiful place called the Barn Sanctuary, and it helps with animals that have been abused, and especially cows. And I went there last summer to see the cows, and they literally came up to me. One of them was eating my hair. But you can volunteer there. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to volunteer at the Barn Sanctuary, if they'll have me, like once or twice a month, once the pandemic is lifted, or however that's going to look, whenever it's available. Let's just say that. But had the pandemic not happened, I probably wouldn't have thought of that. I would have thought, oh, I don't have time for this. I wouldn't be able to squeeze it into my schedule. But now I could, maybe. And this way I could have the cows and only have to clean up their poop once or twice a month. Sorry, TMI. But it's just how we can be still in a thought, how we can get quiet, and then visions can come up. That's what I mean. Our minds are so powerful. We can create things, but we can also just be quiet. Or like this woman said, Elena said, wash the dishes. People complain about washing dishes. Do you know that I love washing dishes? I used to say that we came from a big family, and sometimes some of the most dramatic or dynamic things would happen at dinner or right after dinner. So I would volunteer to do the dishes because I would dodge, any of the dynamics that would go on, and I'd be peaceful, put on some music, wash the dishes. So I don't mind washing dishes. And I feel like after I eat, to stand up and wash dishes, it kind of is a good digestive thing in more ways than one. So while you may miss some of the conversation at the dinner table, you're also missing some of the conversation at the dinner table. But so this Elena says, wash dishes, remove the dust. I don't particularly like housekeeping. If you came to my house, you'd believe me. And I do miss my housekeeper a lot, because she's so good. But I have had to. So in this, it says, remove the dust. There is some peace to dusting. It's that rhythm, So it's these simple things. I know they sound crazy sometimes. Or this other thing, write a letter. I have been handwriting thank you notes to my clients and to my fans after they send donations during my Facebook Live concerts. And people have been sending me messages. Thank you for the thank you. And some of them are even framing them. I think that's amazing. We're getting to be more simple. And within the simplicity, we're becoming more appreciative. Is that cool? I think it's awesome, personally. Granted, we do have to get more tech savvy, as we are today. Proud to say I'm the first one. But, we're taking these slow steps. We are advancing step by step. I am advancing step by step with all this technology, slowly, trying to breathe through it, not panic through it, but breathe through it. So don't forget to, and I love this, it says rest a little, take a step and stop. So in other words, we don't have to be like, okay, now I'm going to conquer everything. No, you take a step and stop. And then you rest a little. And then, this is the good part too. Praise yourself. While we might think that we didn't do anything today, or we just sat around, or we watched a good movie, or we binge watched something. I know people are like feeling guilty about that. Psh, don't feel guilty. It's creative. You are supporting someone who created a movie. You are supporting someone who actually had the technology to put on TV. So yes, TV, some people might say yes, some people say no. I mix it up. I binge watch, then I go work in the garden. Don't be hard on yourself, people. Every little step you take a step, stop, take a step, praise yourself, take a step, breathe. We are in this together. And the art of being still, we are all learning. And, my neighbor was telling me he misses people. He's in sales. He's like, I miss people. I miss going out. I miss having a schedule. And he said his wife is kind of keeping him focused so he doesn't get all squirrely. And he said, she's my anchor. And I thought, my God, I probably wouldn't have heard that if the pandemic wasn't there. So think of all the beautiful things that are coming up because of this. So he announced in front of our neighbors that his wife is his anchor. And I thought, God, that's gorgeous. And literally brought tears to my eyes. Let's really stick together and be still. Rest. This is a beautiful time to rest. And if you want, dream big. It's okay. You can dream. You can have fantasies about things. View your farm with your cows. It's all right. It's all good. But I just want to say that you are loved. You're not alone. Reach out to someone that you think might need it. And then I guarantee you someone will reach out to you. And with that, I'm going to tune out. Thank you so much for being with me today on Dream Big with Jill Jack. And I'll see you next week.